The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the raw and uncensored Ambitchious podcast. I'm your host, the original HBIC, Katie Boyd. During our time here together, I will be instilling all of the strength, power, and determination you will need to use the very stones thrown at you to build your ultimate empire. We will redefine the word bitch from the derogatory to the acronym, being in total control of herself. So let's adjust our crowns and prepare to live life ambitchiously. Oh yeah, here I am, the original HBIC Katie motherfucking Boyd. And over here is my co-host, my sidekick, my Chewy on Chelsea Handler, Matthew Martini Babine.
No Martini anymore.
I know, Matt's not Martiniing it anymore. We're going to have to get him a new nickname because he has been on the Ambitchious 28-Day Protocol.
Yes.
For the last month, and we're going to unpack that today because he's like a new man. He's got a spring in his step.
Yes.
And a spring in his butthole hair.
Oh God, we're gonna start with the beating down of me right away.
That's what this whole podcast is about. I mean, people listen to it thinking, "Oh, I'm going to learn some shit today," but it's really just me blatantly taking all of my aggression out from
Beat
childhood
the shit out of Matt
on you.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll be a whipping boy today again.
All right, that's fine. So this podcast today is all about A28P. So it's kind of like P90X, but it's the Ambitchified version.
Yes.
And it is amazing. So it's the Ambitchious 28-Day Fasting, Keto, and Yoga Protocol that I invented about a year ago. And for the last year, I've pretty much been beta testing it on all kinds of women from all over the world. And we recently, in 2019, did our first real run with 20 women, and it has been absolutely incredible and life-changing. Yeah. And Matt actually did it with us because he's very man-bitchious.
Yes, I'm along.
He's head of the Ambitchmen.
I am the Ambitchmen.
Hey,
That's
it can work for women,
that.
it can work for men. It's not like fasting and keto and yoga can't work for men as well. I think it will actually help them immensely, and we'll talk about that.
He's one of the man-bitches.
He is.
I am man-bitches, yes.
Wait a minute, do you like Ambitchmen or do you like man-bitches better?
I like man-bitches.
Me too, I do too.
That's what she said too before we got on. I said, I really like it too.
Because, we just came out with new swag.
Yeah, man-bitches.
We got to get the man-bitches some swag.
We'll order it today after we get out of the podcast.
You can order
Next time
I'll
you'll see me.
What
I may be in it.
Like a double
He needs a
X
quadruple
double
X.
Yeah. No, that's quadruple. Jeepers.
Omar, the tent maker, is going to make it for him.
Why don't you just get him an XL and then he can be motivated?
Yeah, we'll get you a tiny
medium.
shirt.
Give me a medium. It will be up to my neck.
That's like, is this European cut? Is this a Hugo Boss? What is happening here?
Is this from middle school?
Middle school is right.
All right, so we got to work on that today. We got to get all the men that are supporting their ambitious ladies.
Yes.
The man-bitches tees.
That's a great idea.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
And we should get tees that say like, I'm with man-bitches, and your shirt should say, I'm with ambitchious.
That's
my
great.
God, that's so cute.
All right, with an arrow.
Because his old shirt used to say what? Well, my old shirt used to say, I'm with stupid, with an arrow pointing.
Yeah, but I would just move and get on the other side. So somebody else would think they were stupid.
Oh, you're such a trickster.
For me.
You're such a trickster. But before we start this episode of Ambitchious, I want to talk all about my girl, Ayana, and she is the owner of Prana Hair, Skin, and Lash.com. She keeps me looking gorgeous. And if you go ahead and reach out to her, she will hook you up with the Ambitchious discount, yo. I don't want to embarrass Ayana today because every week, like I go to get my lashes done and she's just like, yeah, so thanks for, obviously plugging Prana, but like you're talking about your husband's asshole hair in the same sentence as my microblading and lash love. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
But I love you.
I told her, I says, I'm going to get something done myself, maybe a brow or something like that.
Or maybe like a baby bang.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll microblade a baby bang onto you.
What is that?
They have these you don't know what a baby bang is?
No, I have no idea.
They have these like little headbands for babies now with hair connected to the front. It's called the baby bang.
You got to be kidding me.
So if they don't have a lot of hair,
well, I have
just
no
put this
hair,
headband
so
on
I can
them.
wear a baby bang.
Don't you think he needs a baby bang, Mr. Ed Sullivan?
Yeah, I don't know about the sizing of it.
Have to glue like 5 baby bands together and
baby
put it
bangs.
On. Oh, but baby bangs. Oh, bang, like a bang. Oh,
yeah, like bangs, like hair, but like bangs. Baby bands?
I thought it was baby
No. Baby bangs. Oh my God. Yeah, maybe Ayanna will put a microblade a baby bang on you. Or like a good handlebar mustache, like you're the criminal or the villain.
Or the villain, yes.
Right?
Could be the villain. Or I could be, the
Yosemite
70s porn star with that
Well, you have to get your 70s porn star moves if you actually want to get a 70s porn star mustache.
No, I have the 2000.
You got the moves like Jagger?
220 moves.
Moves like Jagger, like in the
Jagger.
70s, or moves like Jagger now?
Now.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes, and he can still move.
I'm so sexually satisfied.
At 80.
Jesus, can't wait to get home.
Oh, God. All right, guys, enough beating up on me. Let's move this on.
All right, let's do this. So, as you guys know, I have been in the health, wellness, fitness industry for over 20 years. And the way I was educated, as you know, because when we first started dating, this is how I used to train you.
Yes.
Remember when we first started dating and you used to leave my house in the morning with all of your meals for the day?
It was so much, it seemed to me. Because
it was like 6 meals.
It was like 6 meals.
Right.
And you would call me and say, did you eat your third one?
Yep.
Did you eat your fourth one?
Yep.
I'm like, yeah. It was sitting on my car. So like, yeah. Shit, I gotta eat my meal.
I would work so hard.
I would be so full though,
yeah.
right? Because I wasn't used to eating that many meals in a day.
But that's the way I was trained. So I grew up in that old bodybuilder mentality where it's like, okay, you eat 6 meals a day, you eat every 3 hours, you have your complex carbohydrates, you have fruit, you have oatmeal, you have brown rice, you have all this stuff.
Yeah.
And probably about 10 years ago when I went on my spiritual journey, I started feeling like gross doing that.
Right.
And then I started feeling, and because you were there with me, I started feeling so much depression and so much anxiety. And I know a lot of that had kind of correlated with my spiritual awakening, because that can happen sometimes. You're like, whoa, my whole life is changing. This is scary.
Stuff. Yeah.
But I think my body just started to change. And I was trying to do the old way and be the new Katie. So then I started getting really into veganism because I felt really bad eating the animals because I was spiritual. And then I gained 16 pounds in a year. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, my body's trying to figure itself out. And then I was like, F this. Yeah. And I started going to a naturopathic doctor, and she's just like, dude, you cannot eat like this for your blood type, for your body structure, for who you are. And I slowly started to get into more of like a paleo kind of style. Mm-hmm. And then I started transitioning on my own into keto. And I was so against a ketogenic meal plan for so long, as I was like, oh, fat is bad for you. You have to eat, every 3 hours. You have to do this. Intermittent fasting is crazy. Oh my God, just chicken breast, just white fish, no fat, no oils, all this stuff. And then I remember doing keto for 1 week, and I was like, oh my God, my whole life changed. And you did it with me.
Yes.
No more depression. Yep. No more anxiety. And there was this freedom that came with it, like this liberation, like, oh my God, I don't have to eat all the time. I don't have to cook all the time, because every Sunday of my life, and you know this because you were there with me, was God. What? Meal planning. Meal
prepping. You would have all the Tupperwares out, and everything would be here, bing, 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 the whole week.
I would be measuring all my food.
Well, through Wednesday, and then you do it again.
Oh my God. And it was like taking over my whole life.
Right.
And since I started really getting into keto, and then obviously, as you know, I got into intermittent fasting, then I got into more extended fasting. Mm-hmm. And now what we do is we do this cycling of therapeutic keto. I'm going to explain all this, what it is. Therapeutic ketogenic when we're eating. Mm-hmm. And then doing OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. Yep. And then doing extended fasting, which are 48-hour fasts and 72-hour fasts. And I've even had some women on my protocol that have even done 7-day fasts. And they've lost, 100, 150 pounds, 175 pounds doing this protocol. So I want to take you through the Ambitchious 28-day protocol, fasting, keto, and yoga. Matt is going to talk about what he's experienced. I'm going to talk about what I've experienced. And I'm going to also tell you guys about what my ladies experienced, because our first round of this, we only took on 20 people. Mm-hmm. And I want to keep it small, because it helps me as a coach keep track of what everyone's doing. Right. When there's just so many people, it just gets out of hand, right?
And everyone's trying to accomplish something different. Somebody may be on insulin. Somebody may have high cholesterol.
Yes.
Somebody else may need to lose 10 pounds.
Right.
Somebody needs to lose 60 pounds.
Right.
So
some people aren't doing it for the actual weight loss. They're doing it to heal their bodies because this is such a healing protocol. So I just want to first start off by saying this is not about losing weight. Mm-hmm. This is about taking the inflammation out of your body, healing any kind of mental, emotional, or physical illness or disease that you have, because we all, if you're living on this earth, you have some kind of issue, I'm sure. Even if it's just like, hey, I have really bad period problems, or I get headaches every day, or I'm battling migraines, or I have PCOS, or
skin problems,
whatever. Right. Yeah. I have people who have diabetes who, they came to me and said, hey, if I don't do something, they're going to amputate my feet. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, let's get you on a healing protocol. And this is what the Ambitchious 28-day protocol is all about, because I always tell people you can do anything for 28 days. Right. And because
if I can do it, anyone can do it.
No
because
shit,
I don't know if you follow the podcast. I love food.
Yes,
and I love pasta,
booze.
and I love booze.
And chicken parm.
And chicken parm.
And all the great stuff. And I'll tell you, when I looked at the 28, and before the 28-day protocol started coming up, I'm like, oh boy, it's coming up. And I know I'm doing it because she's the one that does all the cooking. And she'll probably beat the crap out of me if I didn't jump on the 28.
Yeah. Well, you need to be a good role model.
I needed to do it myself. I did. I didn't.
Why do you think you needed to do it?
Well, because first of all, I think, alcohol changes your body, right?
Yes.
And I was struggling with some.
What does alcohol do to your body, Matt?
Inflammation.
Yeah.
Number one, inflammation.
Yeah.
And I was, on blood pressure medicine.
Yes.
And the minute I started taking things out, right, I started getting off the blood pressure medicine, and my blood pressure started to really regulate, and it was all what I was putting into my body.
Absolutely.
And, I've always been a big guy, but I've always been in shape, so I don't think that is what it was. I think it really was the alcohol
causing the inflammation
and the carbohydrates.
100%.
Really, and you know me, I'm very sensitive to certain foods.
I want to tell you about Matt's life. Every week, Matt is so good, right? He does his meal plans. He doesn't drink. He's like perfect. Then Friday comes along and he's like, it's Friday. I deserve a treat because I'm a dog and I reward myself with food when I roll over and play dead.
But it would be like, and it was the same vicious cycle, right? So I'd lose 5 pounds or I'd feel really great. And then on, that Friday would come and that Monday would come and I'd be back to the same weight I was.
You're like Nell Carter.
I felt the same, the same.
That's a flashback.
Aches and pains because now I'm 52 and I have to really watch what I put in my body. And this came.
This is the music. We need the music.
What is it, Ed? Go ahead, play it. And then finally.
This is Jack Candy's Fuzzy Moments. Go ahead.
I realized that in my mind, I needed to follow.
Yes.
KBMFC.
And then what would you do on the weekend?
Program.
What would you do on the weekend?
I would go ham, like Jay-Z. I would go friggin' ham. Hot as a motherfucker. And I would eat everything and,
So Matt would start on Friday night, and he would start with a couple drinks, and then that would parlay into going face forward and balls deep into a huge platter of chicken parmesan. Then the next day, he would get up in the morning. He would feel like a bag of smashed assholes.
Yes.
So then around noon, he would say, I'm starving. I'm fucking starving. I need to eat something. Then I would say, okay, where do you want to eat? Let's go for sushi. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So we'd go for sushi. I'd have sashimi. This motherfucker would eat every goddamn roll that had cream cheese in it and fried tempura balls.
Yes.
And then the next day would be somewhere else going to eat Parmesan fries, this thing, that thing, wine, more vodka. And then I'm like, dude, doesn't it feel like shit that every week you work so hard to be so good, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you just throw it all out the window, and you literally become like, it's this vicious cycle.
Okay, well, now you made me really hungry.
But also that becomes like, it also, in my opinion, becomes like a food addiction.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we talk about people who have like anorexia or bulimia or orthorexia. We talk a lot about that, with what I do, because I deal with a lot of people like that. And I train a lot of people that have these issues.
Yes.
And it's like, you have no better, issue than they do. You're just in your own way doing things like crazily.
Eating crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't realize
and
it.
I know that bulimia and anorexia and these things they're a mental illness.
Right.
I understand.
Right.
I've dealt with it in the past myself, so I'm not putting anyone down out there that's dealing with that. But there are ways to break addiction, even if you do have like these mental illnesses tied to food and alcohol and binging and purging and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now that we've embarrassed Matt thoroughly, I'd also like to say...
I was never a binger or a purger. I just liked...
Yeah.
I like sushi rolls and chicken pie.
Who doesn't? But for me, because my whole life, as you know, because I competed in pageants, I had a lot of... mental illness around food and addiction around food. And I did do the binging and purging, and I did do the starvation stuff. And I did a lot of crazy stuff. If you guys know, I'm totally transparent when it comes to this podcast, because I feel if I just say my truth, I give other women and men out there permission to, speak their truth and truly hold the mirror up to themselves and say, okay, I have a problem. How do I fix it?
Yep.
So for me, that's why I said to myself, okay, how do I fix a lot of people on a massive scale and help them and support them and love them? And that's when we came out with the Ambitchious 28-day protocol.
And, I mentioned the blood pressure, and I talked to my doctor,
Yeah.
because I always recommend talk to your doctor, tell them what you're going to do.
Absolutely.
And, I monitored my blood pressure, and I saw the results, and I worked with my physician as well, because I didn't want to just stop taking the medication.
Of course, no. And we're not doctors. I am not a doctor. I'm not saying that I'm going to cure all your diseases. That's not what I'm saying. So that's a little disclaimer. I'm not a doctor, but I know some shit.
Absolutely.
I've been around the block a few times.
And you've helped a lot of physicians.
I have tons of physicians that come to me, and they know what they say to me. Yeah. They don't teach us any of this shit in school.
Right.
They have to take one, unless they're going into like some kind of like nutrition aspect of like being a surgeon or a doctor or a physician or whatever. They don't have any of this training. I have more training than most physicians out there, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
I actually started weaning off of it, and I started, checking my blood pressure, and all of a sudden doing the 28-day protocol.
Started going down.
Big time. All of the inflammation started to go out of my body, right?
Yeah.
I started, obviously I gave up the alcohol because that was a huge inflammatory response.
Yes.
And I feel great. And, when I do get to where I really, really want to be, and I have certain goals that I want to achieve, then I will have, the good food every now and then, meaning the good food, meaning cheat meal or whatever the case.
Because what I'm feeding him, Mr. Sullivan, is fucking slop.
Meaning, how we talk about, you go, when you get down to that, then you can have this, or I can, and now I'm on board.
But do you even want to? Because let me tell you something right now.
It makes you feel like shit the next day.
Let me break it down to you, Matthew Babine. Katie Elizabeth Boyd, makes chicken parm at home instead of like the panko breadcrumbs or all the cheap shit. I use what? Pork rinds, crushed pork rinds, and Parmesan cheese and almond flour. It's just as good, if not better.
Absolutely.
Right? And instead of pasta, you can use zoodles, or you can use spaghetti squash.
Yes.
Or you can even use the shirataki noodles.
Yes.
Right? And instead of sauce, you use Rayo's sauce.
I had sushi rolls on my brain.
I know.
That's my going to be go-to.
You know what? Sushi rolls on your brain, put sushi rolls on your body. Okay? And then you got more fucking Portuguese rolls in a Portuguese padaria. You know what I'm saying? Jesus, Matt. All right, so I'm going to take you through the top 10 rules of the Ambitchious 28 protocol, and then I'm just going to kind of talk to you guys about what we're actually doing. Mm-hmm. And if you head on over to kbmfc.com, you can actually purchase the protocol, or if you're not ready to purchase the protocol, you can always email me through there, and I am more than happy to answer all of your questions. So here's the top 10 rules. Number 1, this is Matt's rules. Absolutely no drinking alcohol. Right?
Yeah.
When you drink alcohol, obviously we know it creates this inflammation.
Yes.
Right? And the thing is people will say to me when they start a protocol with me, but it's my quinceañera. It's my golden retriever's 3rd birthday. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what it is. No drinking alcohol, just 28 days. And what happens is you get rid of that groove in your brain and you create new habits, because this protocol is not just about like, oh, I'm going to put you guys through hell with no alcohol and none of this stuff, right? It's actually going into your mind. It's not only healing your body, but it's healing your mind, and it's creating these new habits.
And it's like the first time I actually thought back, and I said the first time I drank alcohol was probably when I was a teenager or whatever, high school or whatever. And I didn't go drink alcohol and go,
coffee, brandy, and milk.
This is really good. This is the best, right?
No, it tastes like shit.
It tastes like shit, but you would party in, and there was peer pressure involved, and all these different
You had a little sex on the beach. You were feeling a little friendly.
So all these things were, what do you call it, programmed into you, right? So it's almost like taking and reprogramming your whole body with eliminating these things.
What's really good?
For
me, what's really good is not waking up every morning and saying I feel good, but really having a hangover and not realizing I have a hangover because you're constantly in a hungover state. And I'm not even trying to make a joke.
Yeah, no, it's actually true, because I would be like, you didn't notice until you take alcohol out, and then you go, when I was doing like a week or 2 weeks without drinking or whatever. And then
when did that happen? Fucking Carter administration?
And then all of a sudden, the next day, I'd be like, I would drink, and I'd be like, wow, I feel so different.
So different.
Right? But until you eliminate certain things out of your diet or habitual things like drinking or eating carbohydrates or eating the wrong foods, you don't know. And you don't know what it really feels to feel.
To feel optimal.
Optimal.
The way your body's supposed to feel without you putting poison into it.
You got it.
Number 2, every week, my Ambitchious 28-day protocolers engage in 5 energy expanding, heart expanding, spiritually expanding yoga sessions. So what I did is I filmed 5 amazing yoga sessions, and then the end of the yoga sessions always end with either a breathing exercise or a sound healing or a chanting meditation or some kind of meditation at the end. So you kill 2 birds with one stone by doing your yoga practice. It's 30 minutes and then like a 5-minute meditation.
It's a way of life.
It really is.
It's a way of life, changing everything, mental, spiritually, and physically.
And then the girls get their yoga videos in a link. I send it right to their email, and that's what they do 5 days a week. So easy.
Well, so many workout programs say, it's spiritual, mental, and
bullshit.
physical. And it's not. It focuses mostly on the physical body. Yeah. And this is you've really encapsulated every component.
Everything that Ambitchious stands for.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
And then number 3, 10,000 steps a day. Now, I don't care how you get those steps. I don't care if you get those steps walking your dog or doing cardio at the gym or, like dancing around your living room in your underwear. I don't care what it is, but all you have to do is get 10,000 steps a day. So there's no like bashing your brains out on the Stairmaster like most people want you to do.
Right.
Most trainers want you to do.
I really like some of the women that you're training and some of the men. One was a teacher, and she's like, I'm taking the stairs every day. When everyone goes to lunch, I'm walking around. I'm walking around the school. I'm walking around the building.
Oh, I know. Melissa Quinn.
Now I got a couple of people going outside with me, taking a walk, even though it's cold, right? And when it's winter and it's New England, so it's cold.
Her energy vibrational frequency is rising because she is putting so much of her self-worth to the test.
Yes.
And then other people are like, wow, there's a spring in her step. She's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. She's glowing. I want to look like her.
And I've noticed on this, people have been coming to me. I haven't been saying anything that I'm doing because I'm a very private person when I do certain things.
Very private.
And now people are coming to me and saying, hey, Babine, what are you doing? What's going on? I noticed we went out for a dinner meeting the other night. You didn't drink. You had soda water
you didn't get tanked.
Instead. Or,
like your normal, usual self.
We didn't have to pull you out of the garden after you fell out. No, I'm not that bad. But they notice a difference, and they're like, oh, you seem brighter and sharper and quicker. And that's really awesome, because when people start to come to you and ask you without you saying anything,
that's right.
That means you're on.
Means you're exuding a certain vibrational frequency, right?
And that's the 28-day program.
Yep. And then take your supplements once a day. So many people are like, I don't need no supplements. I don't need no multivitamin. Over here, this ass, he makes me like, how like when you're little,
thanks, Katie,
and your parents put your Flintstone vitamins out on like a paper towel.
10 years of bliss.
I know. I'm such a great wife. No, but it's so annoying to me because I have my hypochondriac drawer in my kitchen.
Yes.
I have about 50 bottles of pills, but like
vitamins.
They're vitamins. But I truly desire, I want to live forever.
Yes.
And I don't want to be the 90-year-old hunched over lady that's walking around Market Basket, like I said the other day on Facebook, pushing her cart with Fancy Feast and a thing of Wonder Bread and some instant coffee all hunched over. I want to be 90 and still be rocking and rolling. I think that you can live forever.
You can do it, yes.
If you truly take care of yourself. So what I have my girls do is when they're doing, and we're going to get into this in a second, when they're doing OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, or they're doing their 2 meals a day protocol, their intermittent fasting, they take all of their supplements. When they're extended fasting, all they do, so when they do their 48-hour fast and their 72-hour fast, they just take their multivitamins. But I always tell people, get a great multivitamin. I use Garden of Life multivitamins. They're amazing, organic, top of the line, and then a good probiotic. And make sure that your probiotic is refrigerated. Because if it's not, that means the living cultures are dead, and then you're just paying for dead cultures in a pill. Like, what the fuck is that? I don't understand. Other than that, I mean, I give a list on my protocol of all the different supplements that I recommend, but all you have to do is get a good multivitamin and a good probiotic to restore your gut health.
And it's such a good multivitamin. I'm sensitive at nighttime. And one night I took the vitamin. Katie's like, hey, babe, did you take your vitamin? I says, oh, I didn't take it, but it's nighttime. I don't want to take it. Get over here and take your vitamin.
Yes.
The whole night I was awake because the vitamin was so potent.
Yeah, it's potent.
Right? It is
you take the Garden of Life, the men's version.
Yes,
the men's
version.
multivitamin.
But then I said, I can't take it. When I take it in the morning, oh my God, I just feel so unbelievable.
Yep.
And now that it's in front of me every day, I take it every day.
So I have to leave it out on the counter for him because he's 3 years old. And that's how I remind him.
No, that's how I leave everything out, my clothes, everything out.
Katie, did I make them in Flintstone shape?
They actually.
Here we
can I tell you something? I actually got him gummy ones.
Really?
And he did, and he took them.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, okay, you got to
Did he eat the whole bottle?
Oh, in one swipe. In one swipe. He was shitting bullets for a week.
I had vitamins. What do you call it? I had so much energy. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah. You were like Oksana Bayul.
I was like Flash Gordon.
God. And then the next rule is all the women and men on my protocol have to take their measurements once a week. So there's no weighing yourself every day. These girls are like, I got to take a shit and then I got to jump on the scale naked. I'm like, no, you're being crazy. You take your measurements once a week. I give you in the protocol how to actually measure yourself correctly. All the women and men in my protocol have to take front, side, back, and side pictures in the same spot in their house with the same lighting, with the same outfits. And they post it every week on our private Facebook community. And then every week I give out incredible prizes for the people who release the most weight, vanish the most inches, the woman on there or the man that was the biggest cheerleader, and then the overall change to their body. Because people don't understand. They get so hung up on like what the scale says, but like you might lose 2 pounds, but you might go down 7 inches. Or you might not lose any weight, but you look like freaking Benjamin Button. You're reverse aging.
I couldn't believe that because that was so huge. It was like, I think it was like 1 week or one and a half weeks into the protocol. And one of your women posted a picture of her face.
Oh
and
my God.
She was already in
beautiful.
Good shape.
Yeah.
She was a beautiful girl. And all of a sudden you go, babe, look at her face before she started and then after.
It's insane.
Lines were gone. Her face was so smooth.
It was glowing.
It was glowing.
And it was pink. The blood was restored to her face.
Amazing. And so many people get caught up in the scale. And believe me, I was one of them. And, now with the measurements or just how you feel, I mean, my knees don't crick or whatever because of crappy food.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty amazing.
No, I agree. It's 100%. Like a lot of the women too are like, Katie, my joints don't hurt anymore. Right. And I sleep through the night or I'm off of my metformin. It's like, whoa, like in 1 month to come off of pills or insulin or whatever that you've been on your whole entire life. Like it's incredible.
This is an individual program. And because some people on the group were like, oh, I didn't lose this much, but I didn't get this. No. Everybody's body is different.
100%.
You have to go into this as where am I going? And you go by the number one thing.
Yes.
Not numbers. How do you feel?
Absolutely.
How do you feel? That's
100%.
the real telltale.
Totally. Yeah. And then the next is follow a therapeutic ketogenic lifestyle. Now, I am not saying dirty keto, eat bacon and cheese all day. I'm talking about you have grass-fed meats. Or if you are vegan or vegetarian, you can have tempeh or tofu and things like that, Garden of Life, raw vegan protein and that kind of stuff. But grass-fed meats, organic meats, pasture-raised meats, no antibiotics because that causes inflammation. I was at Whole Foods the other day and this lady was trying to school me about why grass-fed meat isn't better than regular meat. I'm like, listen, bitch. First of all, do not fuck with me because I will put you down. Can you imagine?
At Whole Foods because they're so like on point with
She wasn't having a good day, I don't think. don't think she was having a good life, but she was saying, well, these are all grass fed, but then they're grain finished. And I was like, yeah, but what if someone has a grain allergy or a corn allergy, which a lot of people in this country, in this world do have.
Absolutely.
If you're eating meat that was fed grain or fed corn and you have a grain or corn allergy, when you're eating the meat, it creates a histamine response and you might have an allergy and go, well, I'm on this protocol and I'm eating meat. Yeah, but you have a grain allergy and you're eating meat that's been fed on grains. That's why it's so important to eat meat, if you do eat meat, that's grass-fed and grass-finished.
But it's not hard. If you follow the rules that you've put out there, you're not going to have any problems, which is awesome because I don't know any of these things. And if I'm able to do it, anyone can do it.
That's very true.
Right?
So in a therapeutic ketogenic lifestyle, you have your protein source, okay? And then you have a vegetable source that's very low in oxalates, very low in lectins, very low in anti-nutrients. I explain this all in the protocol. But for instance, like, you don't want to eat raw broccoli. You always want to cook your broccoli, right? Because it turns it into a more easily digestible thing. But some people will say, well, why can't I have peppers? Why can't I have tomatoes? Why can't I have eggplant? On my old ketogenic lifestyle plan, I could have those things. I can make stuffed peppers. I can make these different things. And I'm like, yeah, but they're nightshade vegetables. Right. Nightshade vegetables are the same family as tobacco and belladonna. Belladonna was an old way that people used to poison people back in like the Middle Ages.
Wow.
Right? So you're ingesting these things that cause so much inflammation. As soon as I took tomatoes and peppers and eggplant out of your diet, all your joint pain went away.
Big time.
Do you remember that?
Oh my God, yeah. And I loved eggplant.
Oh, I love all that stuff.
I love eggplant. I love it.
A good caprese salad, that's a keto staple, but on this you cannot have it, and you cannot have cheese, and you cannot have dairy and things like that because it causes a lot of mucus. So many people have food allergies. They don't even know that they have food allergies because they never do anything that takes a lot of these food things out of their diet.
Well, they don't do anything different.
Right.
Nope.
Drink 1 gallon of water a day. So many people are so fucking dehydrated.
Oh.
So dehydrated. So what I say is drink 1 gallon of water. You could have seltzer water. You can have mineral water. I use Kavita, but I only use the ones that are low in carbohydrates, which is the one that's a watermelon rose, tangerine, or the lemon cayenne. That's another great way. Yeah. And unsweetened teas.
Yep.
Right?
Sleepy
I also
tea.
do.
I love sleepy time tea at nighttime.
I also do coffee too, but coffee can dehydrate you a little bit, and I love coffee. I would never tell anyone to take coffee out of their meal plan ever.
No, black coffee, with sugar, extra.
Dunkin', run on Dunkin'.
10 sugars in a.
Oh, that's how I used to drink my coffee 10 years ago. And then number 8, ask yourself, now this is obviously a spiritual thing or an emotional thing, but ask yourself, is this a hell yes or is this a hell no? When you start fasting, when you start doing these kind of protocols, you start to realize like so many of the things, because now you're like hyper aware, you're awoke, right? You're like, whoa, I'm living in a whole different dimension. You start realizing that so many things that you're doing on a daily basis isn't serving your highest, greatest good. So ask yourself, everything you do, is this a hell yes or is this a hell no? Mm-hmm. And then number 9, this is a really hard one. Matt cannot do it still to this day. Make the last 1 to 5 minutes of your shower freezing cold. And the reason why I have you guys do this is it improves immunity, it makes your skin incredible, and it ups brown fat. Okay, so brown fat actually, so there's regular adipose tissue, and then there's brown fat. And brown fat actually helps burn more fat. So the more brown fat you have on your body, the better. And cold therapy does that. Now, if you can't stand the shower, there's all these places now that does cryotherapy. We go to a place in Nashua.
Check out Katie's
check out my Instagram. You can see Matt in his cryo chamber. He was like
3 minutes.
He was like Michael Jackson with bubbles. Did you see it?
I saw that.
Wasn't it awesome?
I loved it.
With his feet, with his little slippers on and stuff.
Just the head popping out the top.
He looked like a Pez dispenser.
260 degrees?
Yes. Negative 260 degrees.
For 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something. It doesn't feel, it feels weird, but boy, the next day, I slept like a baby that night.
Yep.
Number 2, I had, some pain in my leg from, training all these years and kicking and punching and all that stuff from my martial arts. It was amazing. Amazing. And I'll probably, now that I'm doing that, I'll probably start doing the cold shower.
Yep. And then last but not least, no cheat meals. to reward yourself for good behavior. You're not a dog. Like we said before, Matt would be like, oh, I did so well this week. Fido needs some mac and cheese. Fido needs some chicken parm.
I am a man. I'm a man who eats chicken parm, and not anymore, unless it's done by your way.
Thank you.
I'm beaten into submission, and the submission is actually is going to make me live a lot longer,
right?
And a lot happier. It's getting through. I found, because like I'm not as disciplined as Katie.
Yes.
She's been in this world for a long time. I find when you make it through the first 7 days,
yes,
the benefits outweigh anything
100
that you're doing.
And 10%. Yeah. And then really quick, I just want to go through. So when we actually do fasting, what we do is what's different than most other protocols out there, fasting protocols, is we do a cyclical fast. So a lot of people, they just like fast and whatever, and they're just like, okay, this is what I do. I do, 16 and 8s or 18 and 6s or 20s and 4s or whatever. But for us, we do all these different things, because right when you're like, oh my God, Katie, I can't stand fasting anymore, I give you a day where you're eating 2 meals a day. Or I'm giving you a day where you do OMAD. So what we do is we do 48-hour fasts, and we do OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. And then we do these 2 meal a day protocols, which are more like intermittent fasting. And then we do 78-hour fasts. Mm-hmm. And of course, there's more to it, but I just, I'm throwing it out there just so you guys can understand what we're doing. And then what we do is we have this private Facebook community, because I'm training women and men from all over the world.
Right.
And everyone gets an accountability partner. And then I do these live Zoom calls, the question and answers every week. And every week they get their educational videos where I explain all these different things to them. So like, you're pretty much getting me 24/7 in your ear as your cheerleader. And then this beautiful, incredible group of all these like-minded women from all over the world who are really seriously want each other to win and succeed, which is what being ambitious is all about. Right?
Yeah.
And then they get this great PDF. If you guys can't see this at home, I'm showing this for the people that are watching. It's gorgeous PDF. It has all of your habit trackers. It has your shopping list, your grocery list, all the food that you can and cannot have, a ton of discount codes. And this is just like amazing. Yeah. And the women, let me tell you, that did the first round.
Awesome.
Follow me on Instagram at Katie Boyd Ambitchious, and follow me on Facebook at Katie Boyd Ambitchious. I will show all the before and afters on there, and you guys are going to be fucking blown away. And not just the way these women look, but how they've healed their bodies from start to finish. And I just can't wait for the next one to come out. So head on over to kbmfc.com, check out the protocol. This is not to be missed. If you are looking to do something so different with your life, this is for you. And remember, your self-worth depends on it. Thank you all for stopping by and being crusaders for this ambitious movement. And like I always say, see you next Tuesday.
Good job, man.
Thank you.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.